Hello, hello. This is the Awful and Awesome Entertainment Wrap, episode 332. This is Rajesh Sen, and today we have with us a very special guest. We have Anna Vetikad, who is a journalist and author. She's a very, very well-known film critic who writes on not just cinema, but the intersectionality of feminism with cinema, with various issues which are there. So welcome, Anna.
Thank you and congratulations. 332?
Yeah,
Wow, okay.
I've grown old with this podcast. What can I say? I'm older than most of the people who listen to this podcast, for sure.
But congratulations. It's
Thank
an
you,
achievement.
thank you.
It's
Yes.
huge.
Many, many years. Who would have thought? But so today we are going to discuss, we have quite a nice range of things to discuss, from the sublime to the ridiculous, back to the sublime, back to the ridiculous, sort of. So there's Archies, which everybody is talking about. Then we have Leave the World Behind, which I was very excited about. And of course, Animal, because Anna wrote a lovely review of Animal on her blog. It was on your blog,
On
right?
my blog,
On
Anna
your blog.
Vetikad Goes to the Movies.
Yes, .blogspot.com. And we are also going to be talking about the Malayalam film, which is everybody is talking about, which you're going to pronounce the name because I will get
Kadal.
Kadal.
Kadal, the core. December 1st was the date of the release of Animal, right?
Yeah.
And when I watched it, I knew that the country would be divided on this film and that it's going to be widely discussed. But I didn't expect the discussion on the Archies to last this
That's
long.
what.
And
And
actually,
people are very heartfelt about, like,
yes.
I can't understand why they are so passionate about the Archies.
I think that what's happened, first of all, I think part of the reason is that there are many people who have commented on the kids
Yeah.
purely from the point of view of the whole nepotism debate
Yeah.
that we've had since Sushant Singh Rajput's death. Now, that's an emotive issue. Therefore, there are fans of the stars who are their parents and grandparents who are responding in the exact opposite way. So there are many issues beyond whether or not the film is well liked. Having said that, I think that the very strong opinions being expressed about the Archies online is proof that there are few things that this country debates as much as we debate cinema.
Cinema.
Yes.
That's what.
I-
and Hindi cinema.
I
feel.
wish we would actually replace all religions with cinema, because
Yes.
this is perfectly okay. Let
Bollywood
us
and
fight.
cricket.
Let us
Cricket
fight
also.
over. No, not cricket. Also, I think it's become very ugly.
Huh.
Whereas with cinema, let's fight over Archies and Ronnie and should they have flirted or shouldn't they? Please, let's fight over
And were
that.
they boring or were they not boring?
Yes.
That way.
So, but people, you're right. I mean, people have very
That's what.
passionately expressed their opinions on the film, and I've been surprised.
Yeah, so have I, because it stars Amitabh Bachchan's grandson, which is Shweta Bachchan's son, Agastya Nanda, and it stars Shah Rukh Khan's daughter, Sohana Khan, and Sridevi's daughter, Khushi Kapoor. And then there's Vedang Raina, who is, these are people who are not, at least I don't know that they are from film families, and Mihir Ahuja, Aditi Dot plays Ethel, and there's a range of, there are like 6-7 key characters. I missed out who's playing Moose, and it is on Archie's the comic book. That's where the characters are from, and it's set in Riverdale, and it's Archie's as youngsters, as opposed to the series Riverdale, which was on Netflix, which is of the Archie's characters. They are Betty, Veronica and all, but they have adult problems and there's murders and affairs and lots of things. It's a different world, but spinning, it's a spin-off of Archie's. And this is set in 1960s India, and in this little Anglo-Indian, a town where there are primarily or only Anglo-Indians. And it has their parents, everyone is there. And what happens? There's a story and what happens. Now, I personally thought it was just a sweet, normal film. I didn't think that the kids acted so terribly, honestly, because I genuinely, without even being sarcastic or facetious, I think Suhana and that Agastya, I actually think that Agastya Nanda is not bad at all. Like, there's some promise over there, but Suhana and Khushi Kapoor and all,
I was disappointed in comparison with the rest of Zoya Akhtar's filmography. I also, when she announced the project, couldn't understand why she wanted to adapt
that
the
I
Archies.
didn't understand.
Right? Because the Archies isn't great literature. Sure, I also grew up on it. It was silly. It was silly, frothy, superficial fun. And I have no problem saying I enjoyed it. I'm not apologetic about the fact. I was very conscious. I was a teenager when I read the Archies. I was a very feminist teenager. There were many things about the comics that irritated me, but I also felt like the Archie character was non-malicious, so I was able to live with it and I enjoyed it. But why would a Zoya want to remake it? So then when I heard that she's set it among the Anglo-Indian community in India, I was curious. Okay, that's interesting because that makes sense. And the Anglo-Indian community would have perhaps a Betty Cooper, a Veronica Lodge. The names at least make sense.
Exactly.
And then I thought, okay, well, I should have faith in this filmmaker whose work I've loved. So let me just give it a chance. And in that element, the setting within the Anglo-Indian community,
clever.
it was A, clever, and B, also it's very heartening because please note that she has focused on Anglo-Indians. Many of us, it hasn't struck us that she's giving us basically a Christian Indian community, and Hindi cinema had for decades until the 1990s horribly caricatured Christians and stereotyped them, and then from the 1990s erased the Christian community virtually, right?
Suddenly, one character at most, who's a side character.
If at all, hardly. You hardly see Christians in Hindi cinema now. The moment the Hindu heroine became glamorous and sexy and wearing tiny clothes, the Christian community I saw the way she, Zoya has turned the whole Archie, Ronnie, Betty Cooper triangle on its head, because in the comics, it was these two women who were rivals for Archie's affection.
Fighting over him.
Yes.
And he's the sweet boy. He's not shown the way he is over here.
Yes. Whereas over here, she's doing something which conventional popular entertainment doesn't. Conventional popular entertainment pits women against each other. And Zoya has done the exact opposite. So these things, Rajshri, I liked very much. But I felt like...
But I also thought it was clever to make them speak in English, because these are children who... Other than, I think, Sohana, who has studied in Dhirubhai Ambani, most of these kids have been sent off abroad. I think their Hindi is...
The actors.
The actors, the Hindi, their English pronunciation and diction might be better than their Hindi. So it's clever to have them speaking English dialogues because they seemed very comfortable. It's not like you're making Arbaz Khan speak English dialogues in a full English film. It's not going to work. Over here, they seemed very natural with the speaking the language. And that, I think that's another criticism I read. There's so little Hindi, but it wasn't like, I think we've gone towards it.
But it is a Hindi-English film. I don't understand that criticism. It is a Hindi-English film. It's a combination of both. And that I thought they moved smoothly between the two languages in a way that, I'm assuming the Anglo-Indian community in the 1960s would have been speaking that way. And the fact is that all of us, non-Anglo-Indians living in India's cities, this is how we speak. We mix our languages, English with our mother tongues. So I don't understand that criticism. I do understand people who think it's lifeless in the sense that
it is a little limp.
No, I mean, when I say understand, I don't mean I'm agreeing. I'm saying that that's something that's debatable, right?
It's subjective
you
also.
either like it or you don't. It works or it doesn't. So you cannot argue with someone and say, no, you're wrong, it's not lifeless. If someone felt so, then it is. I myself, like I said, I thought the first hour was...
Now we are going to speak about Animal and Kadal. But to listen to that, you have to log on to the website or any of the streaming sites that you listen to our podcast on. And you're going to get the whole thing over there. And we'll see you on the other side.
Journalism at News Laundry is powered by the public. Because when the public pays, the public is served. Visit newslaundry.com/subscription and pick a payment plan of your choice. Pay to keep news free and independent. Your future, and indeed the future of democracy, depends on it.